All right, welcome. Today, we are going on a really cool journey deep inside what is probably the most amazing engine you will ever own, your heart. And we're not just talking about muscle and blood here. No, we're talking about the invisible, perfectly timed electrical symphony that conducts every single beat. I mean, really think about that for a second. Your heart beats constantly, automatically, from before you were born all the way to your last moment. But how? It's not like your conscious brain is sitting there going, okay, beat, now beat, now beat. So, what is? Well, that's what we're going to dive into. Let's uncover the heart's hidden spark. So, the secret, and this is just incredible, is that the heart generates its own electricity. The whole process kicks off in one tiny, brilliant spot that acts as the heart's personal command center. And this is it, the sinoatrial node, or SA node for short. You can pretty much think of it as the heart's own little spark plug. It's this small cluster of cells tucked away in the upper right chamber, and it's where our entire electrical journey begins. But what's truly mind-blowing is how it creates that spark all on its own. See, this whole thing happens without any outside instruction. The cells in the SA node have something called a pacemaker potential, which basically means they automatically build up an electrical charge by themselves. It's like a slow, steady leak. Once that charge hits a certain point, bam, it triggers a sudden burst of electricity. That's our spark. And then, just like clockwork, the whole cycle starts right back over again. Okay, so once that spark is generated, it can't just hang out in the SA node. It has to travel, right? And lucky for us, the heart has this amazing built-in superhighway to make sure the signal gets exactly where it needs to go in perfect time. The very first stop on this highway is the atria. Those are the two top chambers of the heart. The electrical wave spreads out from the SA node, kind of like a ripple in a pond, and that causes the atrial muscle to contract. This whole thing is incredibly fast, by the way. It takes only about 1/10 of a second to complete and squeeze that blood down into the ventricles waiting below. Now, for this to work so well, the heart uses two main types of cells that have to work together perfectly. First, you've got the wiring. These are the conduction cells, like Purkinje fibers. They are built for one thing: speed. They transmit that electrical signal super fast. And then you have the muscle, or the contraction cells, the myocytes. These guys are built for power. They do the actual squeezing when they get the signal. So one sends the message, and the other does all the heavy lifting. All right, so our electrical signal just made the top chamber squeeze. Now, you'd probably think it would just immediately trigger the bottom chambers, right? Well, wrong. The heart's design includes this moment of pure genius, a deliberate and absolutely critical pause. This pause happens when the signal gets to another little cluster of cells called the atrioventricular node, or AV node. You can think of this node as a gatekeeper, or maybe a traffic light, sitting right between the upper and lower chambers. And its one very special job is to just hold on to that electrical signal for a fraction of a second. And the delay itself? It's only about 1/10 of a second. That's a length of time you can't even really perceive. But for the heart, this tiny, tiny pause is absolutely essential for survival. So, why on earth would the heart want to slow down its own signal? Why build in a delay right in the middle of this high-speed process? It seems a little counterintuitive. Well, the answer is all about perfect mechanical timing. That 0.1-second pause gives the atria just enough time to finish their contraction and completely top off the ventricles with blood. Without that delay, the ventricles would start squeezing before they were totally full, which would make every heartbeat way less efficient. It's just a simple, beautiful solution to a really complex timing problem. Okay, the gate is open. The ventricles are full. Now it's time for the main event. This is the big one: ventricular depolarization. That's just the fancy scientific term for the electrical signal firing up and spreading through the lower chambers, which triggers the most powerful part of the heartbeat. So the signal shoots down this special pathway called the bundle of His, which runs right through the center wall of the heart. Then it splits into a right and a left branch, each one heading toward the bottom of a ventricle. This is basically the express lane of that electrical superhighway we talked about. And the coordination here is just amazing. The signal doesn't just hit the ventricles all at once. No. It first activates the septum, that's the muscular wall between them, and it does it in a very specific pattern, from the left side over to the right. From the septum, that electrical wave races all the way down to the very bottom tip of the heart, which is known as the apex. We are almost ready for the big squeeze. And here it is, the grand finale. The electricity sweeps back up the outer walls of the ventricles. By starting the contraction at the bottom and squeezing upwards, the heart literally wrings the blood out perfectly. You can think of it like squeezing a tube of toothpaste from the bottom. It's the most efficient way to get everything up, pushing it up and into the major arteries. And this whole powerful sequence, it's over in just about 0.1 seconds. Incredible. So we've got this amazing, self-sufficient electrical system just humming along. But what happens when you need to run for a bus or when you need to just chill out and rest? Your heart rate has to be able to change, right? Well, that's where the body's nervous system comes in, acting like a gas pedal and a brake. Your nervous system has a direct line to that SA node we started with. When you need more oxygen, like when you're exercising, your sympathetic nerves act as the gas pedal. They send signals that tell those pacemaker cells to fire faster, speeding up your heart. And when it's time to relax, your vagal nerves act as the brake, slowing that firing rate right back down. It is a perfect balance of internal automation and external control. So from a single leaky cell creating a spark, to a superhighway with a built-in delay, all the way to a powerful, coordinated squeeze, this whole dance happens inside you over 100,000 times a day, without a single conscious thought. It's just a reminder of the absolutely incredible, invisible engineering that keeps all of us going.